Hey everybody, you have made it. It is week 16. It's the final part of the semester, and I'm sure you guys are very excited. I know I'm excited. In this video, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what this week will look like, and how things like final grades and things are going to work. So please do listen to all of this video. I think you'll find it very helpful, and it'll help you end the semester well, regardless of where you are right now. What I want to begin with is just some final notes for your group presentation. I thought it would be helpful just to kind of give a brief review. We've talked about the group presentation a lot at this point, but I just thought it would be helpful to give you some of those review points, you might say. In terms of submitting the speech, I've talked to a lot of you last week during our Zoom meetings, which, by the way, was so wonderful. It was good to see most of you. As I mentioned to a lot of you, in the group presentation, right, you're recording yourself just like you did with your persuasive presentation. Few things I want you to know. Make sure you are standing up in the video and that you are utilizing your slides in some way. Most of you did not have any problem with the slides aspect. In fact, I was just very impressed with the ways that you managed to use them despite the circumstances you're in. So good job with the slides. A few of you were sitting down in chairs. I didn't penalize a lot of you for that, but it definitely did impact some of, it did take points off for it. This time around, I will dock more points if you are standing, if you were sitting down. The reason is just because we're still practicing as if you were in the classroom. So I know it's not ideal. If you really can't stand for your speech, you need to email me and let me know your situation, because I'm willing to work with you if that's the case. But most of you, from the places I saw that you were sitting, had at least some space to stand. So do make that a priority, because I will be grading that in this next speech. Your group also needs 5 oral citations, so you've just been building at this point on how many of you used per speech, right? So this one you need 5 oral citations. Some of you didn't use any in your last speech, so I was a little concerned about that moving forward for this speech. Make sure you guys communicate as a group and figure out who's doing which source, right? I think there's some of you who are in groups of 5, so one of you could do a source each, or if you find that a lot of the sources are in the middle of the speech, then maybe one person does a few and another person does some other ones. Just make sure you overly communicate with your group who's doing what. Also note that the speech is 12 to 15 minutes long. And this means that all your videos threaded together, right? Each of you is doing a small part of it. So I will just tally together how long the speech is total at the end of it. And I'm willing to give a 1-minute grace period, maybe even a 2-minute grace period. I will consider each case by case. But I know that this is not an ideal situation. I've already talked with all of you about that. So we're doing the best that we can with it. That's why I've extended that grace period. But I do want to make sure you're at least at 11 minutes. If not at least 10 minutes, because this is a bigger project and your work at this point should reflect that. So make sure at least each of you is speaking for at least 3 minutes. I would aim for that. If you are speaking under 3 minutes, then you are not probably contributing enough to the presentation, and I will take that into account when the speech is being put together. So just keep that in mind. Finally, make sure you submit your portion of the speech by this Saturday, May 2nd, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That needs to happen. I've been giving you guys some space to turn in some things late, because I just understand things are crazy, but I need you to follow this deadline, because I have a bunch of deadlines in terms of grades to submit, so I need this to be done by Saturday so that I can make sure that you are all on top of things and I'm all on top of things, so that all grades get submitted to Purdue on time. So please respect this deadline. Please make an effort to do this. If you don't feel like you can make it, you need to email me ahead of time. Don't email me the day before, or that will reflect in your grade. Also, just make sure one person submits all your slides together via Blackboard. There is a section under Unit 5. You'll notice I've put under Unit 5 a section for you to submit your video link and to also submit the slides for your presentation. Now, I know that from a few of you I've talked to, some of you are just planning on submitting all the video files strung together in one file. If you want to do that, that is totally fine. As long as all the videos are presentable and I can understand them, that is fine. But You do not need to go up and beyond to do that if you don't want to. All you are required to do is submit your portion of the speech by this Saturday, by May 2nd, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, I just realized I didn't put this in the slides, but make sure your video is correctly labeled, right? So if you're giving the introduction, label yourself as video number 1. If you're giving the point right after the introduction, make sure you label yourself as video number 2, etc., right? If you're the conclusion, whatever you are at the end, label yourself appropriately. This means that you need to communicate with your group members, and this is the last thing I want to bring up. Communicate, and communicate with your group. Most of you have not had any problems, which I've been so impressed. This is not easy to do. Online presentations just are challenging, and again, I've told all of you this was not the first thing. This was not option A when I was thinking about our last presentation for the semester. So thank you so much for stepping up to the plate and working with this, even though it is not easy. But you need to communicate with your group members. Know what order you're speaking in and how you're going to label your videos accordingly. Also, if you have not been putting in the effort for this speech, your grade will reflect it, as your group members will let me know. I have talked with every group at this point, and I have a good idea of how everything's going. So if you are one of those people who may not necessarily be putting in the effort for this speech, now is your chance to really come back from that, communicate with your group, and finish strong. If I still continue to experience this, I know who you are, and I will end up having to deduct points for that. Don't be that person. I don't want to do that. You don't want that to happen, so just finish well, and we shouldn't have any problems. And again, I haven't had a lot of problems with this. For the most part, everything's being turned in, and I haven't seen any major issues. But just want to clarify that, just so you all know. A few things to know then about the week. So the big thing you're doing this week is finishing the presentation, but there's a few other things that I have put under the week 16 folder for this week. And here are the things that I'm also looking for. Because we're at the end of the semester, there's just a few things left to do. I want you to take the communication skills post-test, and I've put the link under the week 16 folder. And I want you to upload your screenshot to Blackboard. I've also given you a space to do that under the week 16 folder. I want you to do that by this Saturday, by May 2nd, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be using this to give you 5 activity points. So you want to do it for the points, and I'm also going to be measuring attendance for this week, right? Usually I would measure it if you were in class at this point, but I'm going to use this to measure the attendance for the week. So get it in. It's not hard. It will take you about 15 to 20 minutes, but you could easily get that done anytime this week before Saturday. Just literally this week you only have that and the presentation, so it's not a lot to do. I also want you to fill out those course evaluations if you can by Sunday, May 3rd. I know it's been so crazy, and I really value your feedback. If this has been a really hard time and there just hasn't been something you wanted to communicate to me during this time, during that peer eval form, that's the opportunity to do it. I ask that your feedback be constructive, right? If there seriously was something that you did not like about the class and you never told me, and you just start spewing out, really, comments that are not necessarily the kindest, it's not constructive for me. It's not helpful for me, because I want to be able to grow and build on those things when I teach this summer and when I teach in the fall. So I ask, be honest, do the best that you want with it. Like, right, just if you have nothing but praise, that's also fine. Like, be honest with it. But make sure your feedback is constructive so that I can grow as well. Just as I've been trying to give you constructive feedback this whole semester, I'd ask for the same. But so far I've been hearing from all of you, and it seems like it's been going well. But again, please just fill that out by May 3rd. I cannot change this due date, by the way. This is the university due date, so I will send emails out just making sure that you guys do this. Last thing about this, if 90% of the class does this, I will give you all. Doesn't matter if you didn't do it, but don't be the person who doesn't do it. If 90% of the class does this, I will give you all 10 activity points. It's the biggest activity point opportunity this week, so get it in by Sunday, May 3rd, by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will give you all 10 activity points. So, woo, sounds fun. You have no reason not to do it, and don't be the person who doesn't do it because you think, oh, everyone else will do it. No, because if you think that way, everyone else might think that way. Finish those outside communication activities. Most of you have already probably made a lot of headway with it. If you have done the survey, I just don't have those results yet, but don't worry about it. They will send me an email by the end of the semester letting me know. These are all due by Monday, next Monday, by May 4th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason I'm giving you till then is because these things are, I know you might be working on this, you might be working on this, or some of the other things, so I'm giving you some space to get this done. Note that if you do the presentation center, they may not have openings by this. In fact, they probably will be closed by even this Friday, which is, this Friday would be May 1st. So that's just something to consider. If you end up putting this one off, if you put off the group presentation, if you put off the presentation center option till the last minute, then that would be a problem. So just make sure you think about that. And finally, extra credit opportunities. If you complete a third outside communication activity or a fourth one, I will give you 4 extra credit points per extra activity, right? So 8 points total. So if you do a third one, 4 points. If you do the fourth one and the third one, then you get 8 points. So just keep that in mind. Finally, the last thing I just wanted to go over with you is final notes for the end of the semester. So I am going to have all your grades inputted into Blackboard by Wednesday, May 6th by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is why I'm asking that you pay attention to the due dates I've just laid before you, because this is my goal. I want to have all your stuff in by this, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Why? You're probably wondering why. Well, once grades are in, I'm giving you till Friday, May 8th by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just to let me know if anything looks off or incorrect. If everything looks fine, you don't have to email me. But if something looks wrong, I want you to tell me, because I am juggling 2 classes with about 20 students per class, and there's obviously, I'm a human being. I will make errors. I'm not trying to make errors, but if I do, I need you to let me know if you see anything. I'm doing my very best to keep track of everything. I think I've done a pretty good job, but again, mistakes can happen, so just let me know. That's why these due dates will be in place. Once this Friday due date is done, I will just assume everything's okay. I will be submitting the grades that day. So if I don't hear from you, they're in. And if you email me afterwards, sorry, that's just I would not be able to fix it at that point. So make sure you use between Wednesday and Friday just to let me know, and we should be all good. That feels like a lot. I feel like it could feel like a lot. It's not, because if you're on Blackboard, here's the week 16 folder. I've put everything here for you need to know. It might feel like a lot, but honestly, you've done everything you need to get ready for the group project. So really this week you're just kind of filming yourself and putting it in a video and submitting it, just like a persuasive speech. So that's not going to take a long time. This communication skills post test is not going to take you a long time. Literally 15-20 minutes one time. Take a screenshot, put it in. Literally easy. And I've put the tab for you to submit it right here. The course evals, literally, I mean, if you were like me in undergrad, I took 2 to 5 minutes often on those. Sometimes I took longer just because I had a really good professor, right? So take as long as you need, but you really don't need more than probably 10 minutes to complete those. So that's easy. And again, if you do it and everyone, 90% of the class does it, 10 activity points. So do it, right? There's no reason not to. And those outside communication activities, most of you have hopefully done one at least by this point, so you just have to do either another one or, if you want, extra credit. So really there is not a lot to do, but the due dates are very, very, very important. So make sure you follow this list. You can review the video that I've just now recorded with all of the due dates. I've tried to make this week especially clear just because I know at the end of the semester a lot of crazy stuff can happen, so this is all here for you. The only other thing I wanted to mention before I sign off is I've just uploaded, last week you did that activity where you posted, or you put together one PowerPoint slide that kind of gave some information on like how to do group presentations and give some like information for your peers. So what I did is I put a compilation of all the slides that I received. If you're not included in this document, I've mentioned that it's either because it was a PDF, and sorry, I couldn't copy and paste PDFs into this, so that's my bad, or I just didn't receive your slides. So This is a compilation of everything I received, and like I mentioned in the assignment, I was going to send this to you. This is optional. This is not something you have to do. It's just here for your reference if you kind of want to see your peers' work, if you also want to see just a source that can help you. Also, I apologize if the formatting's off because every one of you had beautiful slides. There were all different formats. You just didn't all copy and paste the same way, so I apologize if it looks bad. But all the information's there if you need that stuff. Woo! That's the last video you're going to hear from me, at least giving you material. I will send out one more video at the end of the semester, just like a quick talk head with me filming myself, so you'll get to see my face one more time. I look forward to just signing off with you. But this is what this week is doing. Stay strong. You're almost there. Don't give up. You are going to make it. If you put in the hard work and you persevere to the end and do the things that have just been listed today, you will finish strong. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you, and I'm rooting for you guys. Talk to you soon.